Good morning.
Good morning.
I think can you
Can
guys?
you hear me?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I got you. Hang on a minute. I wasn't sure anybody could see me.
You was late.
Well, I was having a problem. It told me that my YouTube stream had been deleted.
That your beard had gotten too long.
Yeah, that's what it was. It got down into the keyboard.
They're like, we can't have any more possum scratchers or whatever on the TV.
Look here. I didn't eat anything this morning, and there could be a nurture or no, wait a minute, that's right, nutrition failure or falling. And if there is, I've got an emergency kit for it.
Well, I need to do a public service announcement this morning.
Okay.
If you're wearing your wild rag silk scarf, cowboy scarf, and you're out in the pump house trying to unthaw your pipes, and you light the cow house heater, which we used to. People don't call them that maybe anymore, but that's what I call them. And you fire up that old cow house heater, and you dip your favorite wild rags silk scarf down by the cow house heater. The sucker will burn like that.
Well, my goodness.
And then you'll like slap your chest out. And I would have given money to have a video of that.
I can see that now coming out of that pump house.
It was around my neck, and that sucker was burning up to my face. And I was like,
yeah, how close did that get to your beard?
Real close. Actually, I had to do just a little bit of trimming. Dad would have been here. He would have stomped my face out, but
have a vision of you running across the path to run to the river.
I was down in the well house and I couldn't go anywhere, and it was like, I'm on fire.
That could have been bad, dude. You need to watch that. Tuck that thing when you go in to work on heater.
When you got on a wool shirt, it takes more to light a wool shirt on fire than it takes to light a silk scarf on fire. So
that would be my general guess.
So now I'm back to wearing just bland colors, which I am appreciative of.
So what runs your cow house heater?
Propane.
Let's see. I now see what you're talking about. I don't know if I can put a picture.
Yeah, it's just got a burner on it, and actually my cow house heater in this particular instance was my crawfish boiler. I had my crawfish boiler down in the house and was just trying to get it to thaw the pipes. And
well, tell me something about that. I mean, doesn't that have a big old open flame coming straight up?
Well, depending on how much you crack the valve.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't have anything over the top to protect.
No, and it's sitting. The pipe that comes out of my pump's about 3 feet off the ground, so I just sit it underneath the pipe, and turn it on low, and put the lid back on my pump house, and it warms it up enough that it thaws those pipes. Because my heat tape went out. And so I have now installed a new heat tape and done all that. And I don't trust those things either, but there you go.
And Mike says, don't let it happen again.
What's that?
Mike says he's Canadian and very impatient, but other than that, he said don't let that happen again.
It's the only time it's ever happened to me, Mike. That's just a PSA.
The only time I've ever caught myself on fire was welding.
Well, and I could see if you had your silk scarf on and you were like welding, which almost all of our boys that weld out here have a silk scarf wrapped around their neck, that would be maybe an issue.
I think it could be.
It's just a put that stuff is supremely flammable.
I wonder if that'd make good charcoal. No, I probably wouldn't.
I don't think so. It didn't. Well, it might. You might just be able to start it without it even being charred.
Just spark it and let it. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to.
It's thin. It's thin, and it. Boy, it just like woof.
And let me tell you something. I can attest to this. When a fire goes woof near your face, everything goes. I mean,
and it was like I'm like, oh, I'm on fire. It didn't burn me. I didn't get any burns or anything.
you're lucky.
I had on a thick wool shirt, and I had that scarf was laying over the top of my wool shirt. But just when you got your wild rag on, you got to be careful around flame.
Okay, why are they calling it wild rag?
I don't know.
I've never heard it called that, but
they're great big old scarves about yay big that you wrap around your neck, and boy, does it keep you warm. I can tell instantly if I got one on or don't when it's cold.
You think it's better than a wool scarf?
I like them better than a wool scarf, but
it would be lighter and then probably not itchy or anything like that. But
and you can wear them in the summertime too. And you got it with you if you're punching cows or something. You can put it up over your face if the dust is bad. But anyway,
not to change the subject on purpose, but Tina's got a snowy hound wrangling problem.
So I was watching Fort Worth Rodeo last night.
Yeah.
The latest episode.
Okay, are you watching that? I mean, one quick question so I don't forget it. Are you watching that on TV or the internet?
I'm watching it on the Cowboy Channel.
Okay, drive on.
And then, so it was a good perf last night. But one of the guys, do I need to do that?
No, I'm trying to figure out if the sun coming in is making
one of the announcers said that in Billings, Montana, right now, there was 5 feet 2 inches of snow, which I think is 62 inches. But
yeah, pretty damn close.
We were south of our state was like divided in half. The north half of the state got pounded by snow and cold, and we were 50 degrees and flooding down here. So we lost most of our snow over the last few days. But
did you guys flood was the river up? Or is it still iced over?
No, it blew open in lots of places. Sam and I actually thought about maybe catching a few more rats this weekend. And
I bet they'll be.
And the ice got so rotten that that wasn't going to happen.
You can't walk. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't walk on it, and there's enough ice that it's dangerous. It's just. But a lot of the riffles and things open back up, which I mean it's just weird. So
keep talking for a minute. I got to fix my seat. I'll be listening and talking, but I got to work on my seat.
But I got some photos, maybe if we can see them. I don't know if we can or not. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's what my place looked like a couple of days ago.
How close is that to the house?
Well, it's down there where the two drives, Larson Lane and Buck Lane, meet.
Yeah.
So it's just south of the house, and yeah, it's a few hundred yards from the house.
Hang on just a minute. I'm almost done.
And the house is in the trees right there. So there's the big water running. It was nasty.
I didn't realize you guys were having that kind of an issue out there.
Never had it before, but
I mean it is.
We have it in the spring that looks like that, but not usually in February. It'll get.
I'm back. Oh, I'm back.
I'm sure winter will come back and visit us here before long, but
I had an extra cushion under my seat today, and yesterday it felt good. Today it didn't, and I think that's why the sun was bothering me so much.
because you were elevated.
Yeah, and I looked out the window, and I just did it again. And it's really bright outside right at the moment.
Are you guys snowy?
Oh no. You funny man.
Well, I just wondered if you had like snow glare.
No, it's just the sun. It's just real bright today. Seems like it's coming in the wind. Every time I look up, I'm getting it. I may have to darken this shade, Brenda.
We've got a little tiny dusting last night and made it white all outside again.
What's your temperature right now, though?
Well, it was 16 when I got up, which is good. I mean, 16 Fahrenheit above. We had about maybe a week and a half of getting down way below zero in the evening. But we're supposed to get, so today, I think the highs are going to be in the low 20s again, and it's going to be that way for about 5 days.
If you look at a lot of weather maps, our house is, oh hell, it moved on me. We have such a mishmash of weather east right now. And there's another one of those big fronts coming in. Well, our house is more or less right here. And you can see most of that's above us. So, and I saw a little pink up there, but that's all the way up in near, the edge of Ohio, north part of Kentucky.
So are they going to get ice or?
They may get snow. I'm not sure which they'll get here. I hadn't watched the serious weather today. I was looking for the temperature. It says it's 56 here this morning. That's probably about right. I think it got down in the 40s is what they were thinking it might do.
Holy criminally.
What?
It got all the way down into the 40s.
Oh yeah. We had a couple of weeks of teens and 20s, and then it just jumped right back up to 65.
Well, that's what happened at Mom and Dad's place, which was good for Dad since he's got double pneumonia and COVID all at the same time.
If you talk to him in a day or two,
they probably gave that to him at the hospital. He didn't have it before he went to hospital.
Now, he may have already been infected, though.
Anyway, he's doing much better, much better. So he sounds like a human being again.
That's good.
He was sounding pretty weak there for a while. So
yeah, I mean that's pretty scary. And they
thought he had his gallbladder had gone, and they were going to take his gallbladder out. And it turns out it was not his gallbladder at all. It was medication they had him on for pneumonia was causing his stomach to hurt so bad, and
Uh, yes, that does that. I bet
so
they have
he's
antibiotics. You know.
they switched him off of that, and he's not had any issue with that since. And so it's just healing up from pneumonia. He had it in one lung, and then they said, now you got it in both lungs. And he had a kind of a rough go there for a little while, but he's doing good now.
Trying to catch up on this conversation over here at the side of the room. Mike's Tina said something about Mike hadn't got his garage door closed yet. I've missed that, Mike. I didn't know you couldn't get your garage door closed. That's I'm sure that's not an uncommon thing up there.
Well, maybe you don't have to if you don't get that much snow.
Well, yeah. Well, that's true, but still, you keep the cold out. Not usually all the time. What do you mean?
Miles said he closed it all the time.
Okay, well, I just wanted Tina to ask him, so I just wondered. I just figured there was more to that story.
But yeah, we haven't had, I don't know if I'm knocking on wood or not. We've had plenty of moisture, which I can't believe I just said that. I live in Wyoming, for crying out loud. But we've had.
I was reading Mike's. What did you say? You got too much moisture?
No, I said we've had plenty of moisture.
Oh, plenty of moisture. Oh, that's the same. About the same.
We've had good moisture this year, but not much snow. We'll get a snow and then it melts quick, and then we've had rain, and it was raining most of the week. It rained here, which is weird.
Tina, I get it.
And we're just holding our breath, wondering when we're going to pay for it.
Well, you probably will. Wait a minute. Again, I'm confused about one thing. You mean when you're going to pay for it for more snow or for really dry weather and drought?
No, when it decides to be winter again, and because winter doesn't end here till May or sometimes June. Sometimes June. So yeah. Then Tina said they haven't had any snow melt since November.
Yeah, I didn't realize they still had snow on the ground. She told me that the other day. I was a little surprised because I thought most of the eastern United States it had melted or whatever, but it's been
she's in the good part of New York, so
yeah. I mean, but I thought it might have melted. I don't know. I just thought they'd been warmer. I guess because we've gotten so warm, I thought it did all back here. But
I mean, even Mom and Dad's place there north of the river was north of the Ohio. They got up in the 60s, mid 60s.
Yeah,
all through that country,
which is pretty dang cool.
But we've been cold some, but not bitter, but like 40 below zero kind of cold. But parts of Wyoming have been. The northern tier, and normally they're lower elevation up that way toward Montana, and they're normally kind of the banana belt, which is odd to even think of it. They're not, because we're at 7,000 feet and they're at 3,500 or whatever, and they're normally pretty mild comparatively in Wyoming. And this year it's been flip-flopped, but it's their turn.
That's right. You need to share.
It's their turn. All the bad roads have been up in the northern counties, and we've been pretty good comparatively.
Okay, well, let's see here. What Tina said they have the same
They're
problem.
on the lucky side of the Adirondacks.
Well, that's still a better place to be than the other side. So I get that. All right, let's see. I'm going to give a quick update about my wing. Why is that not showing up on my screen?
What?
The slideshow. It's not. It should be over here. Do you see it at all?
No.
That's because I haven't shared it with anybody yet. Dumbass. Oh my God, I'm not having a good day this morning. I'm not. This is probably not something I should even admit to, but I don't think I'm on. I don't think I'm running on full.
You don't have a full psych.
I don't think so. Well, no, I know I don't have a full sight.
Full sack. As Buck Flainer would always say, you don't have a full sack.
Buck Flainer. So anyway, well, on the other side of the Adirondacks is Canada. Oh, okay. Wait a minute, Tina. So which side are you saying is the good side? Maple Bacon City. Oh, wait a minute. This is
hang on. His glider's license.
Yeah, this is part of the program he's in to basically learn to fly and correct me.
That's so cool.
So he's tested. He had to do a bunch of tests, exams and things to get within the cadets, the air cadets that he's in.
Yeah.
And last night he was doing a written test with him, and it was just two people, him and a girl. That was, I guess, I don't know what her rank is, so to speak, but she was testing, he was testing, and I really hope he did well. I feel like he did good on it. I have that feeling that.
That's sweet. That's so cool.
It is. I really hope he gets it.
I still remember, there's been lots of history of gliders and people flying gliders into really awful places, but then there were other gliders that I've seen. I remember watching David Attenborough on like Life of Birds flying
a glider.
He was a passenger, and they were flying with some kind of vultures over in I think Spain or Italy, and it was just way cool. They were silent. The birds were silent. It was just cool.
I'd love to.
They were riding those thermals just like the vultures were kettling in a thermal, and it was just cool. Anyway,
out of 90 kids, only 2 made it. Oh, wait. Hey, Mike. First off, let me say hi to John. Good morning, John.
Good morning, John.
I hope you're well, sir, and your family.
Good morning, everybody else.
Here's what.
The old Erickson bear was like a little late this morning, so
you pick up on all that name.
I had Owen sitting here on my lap, and we were going, as soon as you turned it on, we were going to tell you Owen was going to tell you were late. But he lost patience and had to get up and go and do other stuff.
Wait longer. Well, just how late was I? I didn't look at the clock.
You weren't that late.
Okay, good. The Mike, I think that's Mike and I talked last night for a little bit on I would say the phone, but it really was on Instagram, and so I was really pulling for him. I hope he did. I hope he thought they might know something by Monday.
That's pretty cool.
There went a Harley. You guys ought to be able to hear it.
I heard it. I was wondering if your heater was getting ready to go out or something.
No,
if you're going to have to go cuss at the heater.
Well, I think I told these guys this. Maybe I did. I don't know if I've told you or not, but yeah, I did. I came in here the other day and it was 100 degrees.
No, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah,
literally.
Yes. I walked in here and I hadn't been out here in a week and a half or more because of the bad wing here, and I just hadn't gotten out here, and I couldn't use it for anything, so I just stayed in the house. But anyway, I came out here, and that day that I came out here, temperature had jumped up in the 60s outside, and
Outside.
huh?
Outside
Yeah,
temperature.
and that's Fahrenheit for all our Canadian friends.
Yeah.
Um, I walked in here and the heat was still on because apparently my thermostats on my little heaters don't cut down when they should. Anyway, I walked in here and it was like, whoa, holy crap. And it just this huge blast of heat. So I walked around and started turning stuff off and opened my door. Now this is all taking me probably 10 minutes or so. And I walked over here and I realized I was thinking, damn, I wish I had a thermometer in here. And then I thought, well, I do have one. It's right up here. So I looked up there and it was dropping down probably around 97 by the time I checked. So did it hit 100? I'm not 100% sure, but I'm betting on it. And oh my God, I left the door open. It took it forever to cool down. Brenda says that's a neighbor that rode out. I thought, okay, yeah, it could have been. There is one around here, but it's going to be a decent day. People will be out riding because even back here you don't get that many days like this in the wintertime. Although later I think it is supposed to rain later.
Is it sunny and
Well, it is right now, but I don't think it's going to last. I think it's supposed to get cloudy and then maybe rain more.
well, I don't know what we're gonna do cloud wise. There's a big old bank of clouds to the west, so I assume they'll roll over us here in a little while. But
My God, my
yeah,
backside hurts today. What happened?
no, that's just noise you was making, not me.
Part of that was my chair, and part of that was me.
What are you needing, bud?
Who you got there?
Well, I got a whole cluster of them, but
Well, I thought somebody might have walked up.
we had. I think I was telling you when we were on the phone yesterday. We had a chop challenge cook off going on here.
I would like for you to tell our friends about that because that's
Well, I mean they were making meals out of Play-Doh. Homemade Play-Doh, by the way, not your store-bought variety. Because Grandma knows how to make homemade Play-Doh, and they use a lot at her daycare facilities and preschools and whatnot. And so they made Play-Doh. Then they decided they needed to be on a contest, and Grandpa was the judge.
Which meant Grandpa.
And so for like 2 hours, we did a chop challenge, and it was two girls, and they each won a round. That we had 4 rounds instead of 3 rounds. So they're tied right now. So we're gonna have to have a magic like special winner loser kind of chop challenge here before long. So
and they want, and of course in most food challenges like that you have to taste.
So the oldest granddaughter used to make like a recipe. Anytime she was at our house, she went through the spice drawer and made a recipe, and it always came out bright Grinch blood green. and I had to taste it. But at least it was food. This was Play-Doh, and I'm like, and it was full of alum and all kind of cool things. I'm like, I am not eating that. I pretended like I did, but
so they actually put some spices in the Play-Doh.
No,
No.
just alum was part of the
Oh, alum's part of it. Oh,
part,
okay.
it's part of the recipe to make the Play-Doh.
Now Brenda used to have
But
to do.
I'm like, I know what alum does to you. At least I ate enough green persimmons as a young child in the woods that I know what alum does to your mouth, and I'm not doing it.
John's saying that Tina might get some snow tonight.
Uh-oh.
Somebody look like John is going to a Devils game tonight, so he's got a road trip coming up. How long do you have to? How far is that, John, from where you live? Oh, Tina's going too.
Tina's going.
Time for a meet up there, guys. Don't pass up that opportunity. I mean, I thought it looks like. I'm assuming John's going to. Tina says we're getting snow every day and every night. Oh well, I didn't know that. So I'm pleased. I hope nobody's offended. I'm not really trying to make fun of you. It's just when put in the context of the weather these days, you just never
Well, I
know.
mean, they live in that snowshoeing country. They're supposed to get snow up there.
True. No, John's not going. He said he's still got a cold.
You live that close to Canada, you're gonna get snow unless you're in Canada, and then maybe you won't get any snow.
Wait a minute, Tina. Who do you have season tickets to? The Devils? Well, you got to take your medicine, John. I understand.
That's
I get that. Totally get that.
that's a good man.
Uh, so tell us, Tina.
That'll cure your
I
cold.
didn't realize you. I don't know. I know you guys go to games, but I wasn't sure who you went to at games. I thought it was. God, you know what? I thought it might be Buffalo. Maybe I'm wrong there. Probably am wrong there. Please, again,
The Comets are a farm team.
the Utica Comets. Okay, gotcha. Well, yeah, okay. I knew you went to the Comets games. I thought you were saying you were going to a pro game. But you know what? I mean, this is a pro game. It's just a lower level pro game. I watched the end of a game. I was watching the end of a game last night. When we went night. Teddy and I were in the living room. I've been sleeping on the couch because of this, and or the recliner, and I turned on the Dallas. Who were they playing? Dallas and it was Los Angeles. It was a late night game. It was still live. It was Dallas and Los Angeles, and It was 3-2, and the third period was starting. And I thought, oh, cool. I'll watch this. I can stay awake 20 more minutes or, whatever, 30. And I fell asleep. And I know they went into overtime, but I don't know what happened after that. It was 4-4. The only reason I know that is I started watching it again this morning, while I was getting ready, fixing coffee and stuff. And I got up to the overtime part, and then I was gone. I mean, I had to cut it off and leave. It's fine, John. But they were the Devils farm team before they were just the Devils. Okay.
My hounds are having a grand wrestling match.
Hey, Carkey, welcome in. Didn't see you.
Good morning, Miss Carol.
She's at her daughter's house. Well, tell your daughter we said hi. And I think there's a baby there, isn't there? Or maybe two, but I think there is. And if I don't remember that correctly, just shame me later. Is
that in Michigan as well? Is that in Michigan as well?
Well, I'm not sure about her daughter. I know one of them lives on the western side of the Palm. You think the Kings won, Chuck? I was trying to think. I kind of, it's going to sound silly, but maybe Chuck will get it, or Tina, or John. Maybe they watch a lot of hockey. Players move around so much in hockey. I never realized that until I got more involved in watching it the last few years. But so, and right then this year, Nashville's having a terrible year, and I don't normally do pull for them for everything, but they're and I still do, but a lot of their players are gone. So I've been kind of watching different teams and where they're playing, and there's at least two players that used to be two of their good players they got rid of. One was a young guy they got rid of, I think, way too early. And they were playing for the Kings last night, so I was kind of watching them play and rooting for them a little bit. Hey, Mike, you know what? I called up there just for you, and I said, you guys ought to consider hauling in some horse trailer.
with fancy living quarters up front.
I guarantee you right now, if we had Michael's own microphone, I bet we would hear somewhere in the background, no,
you're not getting a horse trailer.
No horse trailers.
You gotta have something to haul your Harley in.
Well, and your big dogs and yourself. And a place
exactly. Then you can have fancy living quarters up front. Put your motorcycle and your dogs in the back. Because you got big dog.
That's right. Even their little dog.
One big dog.
Yeah. Ain't nothing little about a basset hound.
He's nearly as big as a horse.
She just said no from upstairs. Last night we were talking, and she wasn't.
She has the ears of a hawk.
It was not before last, or a couple nights ago, and we were trying to talk about this trailer show, their RV show they were going to, and I just barely mentioned horse trailers, and she was on the complete other side of the room and not even in the conversation, and I heard no horse trailers. So I think he's right about the ears. Maybe not of a hawk, but of something. Hawk's got good eyes. I don't know how.
John, I'm sorry, buddy.
What?
Well, John said it's been 40 years since he's been horseback.
Oh, it's been a long time for me now too, John. Quite a few years. I've been mounted on other kind of horses, two-wheeled horses, but no. Hey, Jay, welcome in. We were trying to get going here, and then Maple Bacon got us talking about snow conditions and
horse trailers,
and what you got any opinion on camping in a horse trailer, Dave? I mean, maybe you not now. And when I say horse trailer, now you got to realize I'm talking about the new ones that have living quarters in the front. We're not talking about anything halfway here. We're talking about the real deal. You're not sleeping on hay. You're sleeping on.
You can sleep right on a saddle blanket, right inside with the horses.
Well, you can, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think maybe that's what Diana's worried about. Maybe she's afraid she's going to be sleeping back with the horses, or maybe she's thinking that's all it'll be. Okay, guys, I'm going to start this show if it kills me. I've been trying to do this for about 3 weeks to a month, and honestly, I wanted to do a little more research than I got done, but we're still going to talk about it.
You told me to grab some coffee. I'm going to do it.
Okay, you grab it, and we'll get started when you get back. So I'll go ahead and say this part. No, I'll wait. Camp with Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts when kids were little. Okay, that's usually not in a big camper though, probably. Which one of us said it's going to kill somebody? Me? Oh, I know what I got to do before I go any further. I got to thank Tina and Chuck for a package arrived at our house this week, and it had some goodies in it. One was a pound of coffee, which I forgot to bring. But a pound of, did it come from here, Tina? I don't know if you guys can see that or not. These are coasters from, I guess, from the bar. It's Thousand Islands, New York. Actually, that's more. That's probably where it's level. And along with these two coasters came two coffee mugs, new coffee mugs, and the backside does say, um, "Oh, I can't even read from. I can't read backwards."
Says it's stolen from
Oh
somewhere.
yeah. It's stolen. It's stolen from the.
Thousand Islands.
I got to read this one down here. Cove Coffee Cove restaurant in Thousand Islands, Clayton, New York. So I hope I don't get caught with these since they're stolen. The coffee was Utica coffee, yeah, but I forgot it. I'm sorry. The other side, we got two cups, and one of them looks like this. I'll try to hold that up there halfway still.
Yeah, but the picture's only this big, dude. So
Yeah, well, I know you can't.
we can't tell anyway.
But there's another one. It says the same thing on one side, but it has a different picture on this side. And the bottom of both of them says the kids are your tomorrow. So I thought that was pretty cool. Tina, I didn't look this up, and I should have. I could have figured this out. But is there a reason that the kids? I mean, are they do charity work for kids, or is this just a slogan they have? And I'll set those down. And you're back. Oh, we did. I figured you paid for them. I was just kidding about the stolen, but it said they were stolen, so I didn't know. I do often believe in the written word, so
I was reading John's post about getting some more Jameson into his coffee.
that's what I need this morning, Mike. Or I may do that after we get off. I may pour a little bit in mine. If I see a salt shaker and pepper shaker, I'm going to raise an eyebrow. Wait a minute. Who are you talking about? Mike's got me confused. I'm not sure.
If you stole the cups and the salt and pepper shaker.
Oh. See, my mind is not working right today. Anyway, we're going to talk about some Vikings in America, and I'm going to confess, like I said, I've got stuff that I can't find today. Oh, you know what? Maybe I do know where it is, and I can't get to it at the moment. Let me turn this off just a second. Okay, give me just a minute. Let me see if I do, because there was something I really wanted to talk about that I read about.
You can remember that, but not what it was you're going to talk about.
I remember what I'm going to talk about. I don't remember a particular part of the subject that I thought was fascinating and I had never heard before. So I wanted to include that. Okay, I got a map here. I want to point out also.
Did you guys all hear that?
I heard something.
Shauna just called everybody to breakfast, so
well, that's
everybody come on down.
I didn't hear Shauna say that part. Come on down.
I suspect you girls are going to eat in yonder, but we'll see.
Oh, they can eat in there. We'll talk about what they're eating. Maybe they'll give us a sample. As long as that's not something they were brewing up yesterday.
Come here, bud. Look at that shirt.
I can't see it. I got too many windows open. Hang on. Let me see the shirt again. Somehow I closed everything.
You froze the internet.
Well,
It's a camouflage shirt, and all the camouflage pattern is all dinosaurs.
hey buddy, how you doing today?
Are you good? Say yeah, I'm good.
I thought you were late to the show this morning.
Were you late or was he late? He was late. That's
Oh, I see. I see.
right.
You gonna get your grandpa to bring you back here to see us in Tennessee?
You want to go to Tennessee?
What the hell's that?
You want to go to visit Tennessee? I think that'd be good.
I think that'd be a blast.
You can see the boyhood manse of Grandpa. Here you go. Off you go.
We could
Go get you some breakfast.
we could take them to the mountains around here and show them mountains with trees on them.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think I found the piece of paper I was wanting to find here. The piece of paper, golly, not a piece of paper. Well,
They're eating like eggs and bacon and some kind of big old roll, with chocolate poured all over the top of it.
oh, hey, what?
I might have to leave so I can go eat.
Well, you can eat right there in front of us. I don't.
There's no pancakes, Mike. Sorry, bud. But there's a great big pastry that's this long that's got chocolate poured over the top of it.
Well, I have a question for you.
Which looks, if you cut it up right, it'd look an awful lot like a donut.
Mark, it's okay because Mike likes pancakes real well too. We've had a couple discussions about that. Okay, I got a question for Mark and Shauna and the rest of the people. Do you guys do chocolate gravy for breakfast?
Never heard of it.
How about anybody else in the room?
Chocolate gravy?
Chocolate gravy. What
do you pour it over?
Well, biscuits. That kind, not potatoes, or as far as I know, not over that kind of food. It was usually biscuits. I never heard of it either, and I grew up, where I grew up in Upper East Tennessee. I think this must be a phenomenon that started somewhere around Knoxville towards Nashville. And I worked with a lady in Nashville, talked about eating chocolate gravy all the time when she was growing up. And I told her I thought she was crazy. I never heard of such a thing, and I never did make. I think she gave me the recipe one time, and I never made it. But then I got up here, and I ran into somebody up here that used to eat it all the time.
Never heard of it.
Me either. Maple for us, but chocolate gravy is Hershey syrup. Well, no, it's not, Tina, in this case. But that's the kind I had if I wanted to pour it over something. No, this was actually made. They'd make this on the stove. So it was warm and it was chocolate gravy. And I don't know, I think it probably had cocoa powder in it instead of Hershey syrup.
Yeah, probably milk and cocoa powder.
Huh?
Probably milk and cocoa powder and
I don't know. To me, it was the strangest thing I'd ever heard about. And I never did try to make it, but I wanted to. I mentioned it to Brenda.
I'm trying to decide if that sounds good or not.
Well, she said it was great, and she grew up eating it. So I don't know. And then I met more people who had eaten it around here. So I maybe it's a Knoxville area thing.
But I'm a fan of gravy, but it's got to be gravy.
It's got to be gravy. Yeah, me too.
But white gravy or brown gravy, I can take either one of them. I love them both. So
I pretty much. John said I've had molasses on pancakes too, cocoa powder and confectionery sugar.
I've eaten molasses on a lot of stuff.
Well, you know what? Now that I brought it up, I'm going to have to see if I can find more information. Hang on.
Well, you don't need to do it right now. You ain't ever gonna start this show.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Southern style chocolate gravy recipe. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. Brenda said, "No, what? No, what?
No to the chocolate gravy."
I can't believe that. She's a gravy fiend, or not a gravy fiend. She's a chocolate fiend. So that must sound really bad to her. Tina, John, yes, I have too. It's good, but maple syrup. I've had molasses too, and that probably was more common down here when I was at one time. But I'll take maple syrup, maple gravy. I'll take maple syrup any day. Okay, back to the Vikings. We're going to talk.
One squirrel averted.
No squirrel. I'm gonna skip this squirrel, so I'm gonna move on. We've taken a big one already. An hour. All right, everybody, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And I learned something this week about leaving comments. If anybody leaves me a comment of 7 words or more, has to be at least 7 words. It could be just 7 words. You can make up something like Tim's a rat's blank in a hole in the ground or whatever. Or how many 7 words is. And somehow that kicks the algorithm in and actually shares it out. Tina said, one squirrel averted. Okay, so anyway, there's that business. So we're going to, oh, and this was, I learned a word too the day I started this, and that's hang on, I got to have a drink of water. Perseverate. I can't even say it now. And I heard somebody say this, or I read it, and I had to look it up and everything. I had to learn how to pronounce it because my tongue just don't work that way. Well, now this says just perseverate. Never heard that word. Never used that word. Oops. So anyway, there's that. I don't know. Maybe you guys use that word, but that was a new one for me. Perseverate. Third person present. Perseverates. Past tense. Perseverated. Past participle. I thought, I was trying to figure out how they could use that in a sentence mark. Like, oh, he's not here.
Are you asking me a question? I wasn't.
No, I was saying I was going to ask.
He's talking to you. What did you ask me?
Well, I was saying this is the word perseverate. Well, I was trying to figure out how we could work that into, we were, and he said, but the quote about persevere.
Endeavoring. So we could perseverate. We could endeavor to perseverate.
Maybe it fits in the same way. I don't know.
I never even heard the word before. You brought it up the other day, and I never even heard of it.
Well, yeah, we were talking, but that was on the phone, wasn't it?
You asked me. You're like, tell me about perseverate, and I'm like, I never even heard the word before. You might as well be speaking Ugandan to me.
Well, anyway, that was a word. And also, when I started this program, I was going to show it on January 25th. And that was the first time on that day in 1915, Alexander Graham Bell made his first transcontinental telephone call from New York to San Francisco. I wonder what the rates were for that call back then. The first Winter Olympics were held in a French word. John, help me with that. I wish you were on here.
Chamonix.
Maybe France. 1961, John F. Kennedy delivered the first live televised presidential news conference. We see a lot of that today, but that was probably a big deal in 61. And in 1971, Charles Manson and members of his family were found guilty of the Tate LaBianca murders. I didn't look up anybody's birthday. I don't know if anybody has had a birthday, or if anybody in here has a birthday in February. Please let me know.
Tina said you went to Africa, didn't you learn Ugandan?
Well, he did try.
I learned some Afrikaans,
And some
which
Swahili.
is from the you know, all the people from the Netherlands, that the Dutch folks that had settled down there. So it was,
They say Netherlands, Nederlands.
well, Nederlander.
Neder-
But that's, all the people that settled down there that were the Afrikaans people were white folks from Europe originally, but they were down there, heck, darn near earlier than we were over here. So, but I learned a few words but I don't know the tribe of people. They all, there's so many tribes down there, but none of them were Ugandans. We were too far from there.
There's a young lady I know Phil follows her, and I've been following her for years. That she's traveling around the world on a motorcycle, solo, and she's written a book that I'm waiting on. She's from the Netherlands, and she says it. Now we'll say it. She just says it Netherlands because she's going through these right now. She's in a place I probably wouldn't go, the Middle East, and she just went through Iraq and into Saudi Arabia and now into Kuwait, I think. And every time she stops somewhere, they always ask her if she's American because she speaks English real well. But she's always she has to tell them she's from the Netherlands, which some of them think's really cool. Okay, wait a minute. I didn't talk about that slide. Evidence of early Viking presence in the Americas, and that they think they first got here, or not got here, settled here in 1021. So 1,003 years ago, 4 years ago. And they first they settled in Vinland, and that's where the main village that they found, that they know they were there for that. And this is some of their housing, these mounds and way these buildings here are. I'm going to call them buildings, but these are what they lived in.
And that was Leif Erikson, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and I think I got that somewhere. Maybe I didn't.
Eric the Reds boy.
Yeah, Eric the Reds boy, and that's why. And today, that's why I'm Eric Satrday Terrible less son, because I wanted to be Eric the Terrible son. So anyway, the Vikings were here. At least that's the biggest settlement they found. And some will say there's no more settlements, and some will say, well, maybe not a settlement, but they were sure here. And I've read one section of a book where they honestly think they intermixed with the natives.
Well, they lived there. I mean, that for several years.
But I mean, when they moved on into the continent to trade, and I personally believe they did, they also mixed with the Indians, the natives, and there's a whole book about the American Vikings. There's probably more than one book. And I'm really wanting to read that one to get some more information. But then there's other people that say, no, that couldn't have happened. But I'm going to tell you something. If I was a Viking and I had traveled all the way across the North Atlantic to Greenland, and then figured out a way to make it up to Hellerland here and down all the way back down to Vinland, which was Newfoundland, why in the heck would I not go inward here to trade? And I mean, that's what they were here for. So I firmly believe the
Skraelings would keep you out of there, maybe, unless you could get along with them.
Who?
The Skraelings, they called them, the native peoples. But I will guarantee you, human beings are like human beings, and they're gonna like, hey, what's over that hill yonder?
What's around that next curve up there, Mark?
Exactly. Let's go up that river. Let's whatever.
Climb that, go up that mountain road and see where it goes. And we went and went. This is an iron sculpture that's on where that, God, I wish I could pronounce that bill. There it is. Lansall Meadows, and I'm not saying it right, and I'm forgive. I had practiced that too, but I can't say it this morning. And there's 3 or 4 different ways to pronounce it, depending on if you're French or American or British or wherever. But
So where is that at?
this is at Vinland, or where they settled.
Oh, it's still on Vinland.
This is down here. That's where the biggest. In fact, it's right here. The largest actual settlement that they have discovered. That's where it's at, and that's where a lot of people think they stopped. I just don't believe that. I say if you travel that far,
There's no way they
to trade
stopped.
with the Indians or the natives over here. I just don't think there's any way they stopped there. But I mean, I just don't.
Well, I mean, look at ghosts.
Look at what?
Look at the show Ghosts. They didn't stop in Vinland.
Exactly.
But I think that's true. I think they really, excursions would go out and explore about. They were a seafaring people that could have gone anywhere.
And they were over here to trade and bring back all the goodies that were over here to Denmark or Norway or Sweden or wherever those particular Vikings came from. I think these are mostly Danes, which Thorson don't like.
Thorfinson doesn't like them.
I'm not sure where I think he's supposed to be from Norway.
Norway.
I mean, Pete just went there the other night. Now, Brenda help us out here. Where'd Pete go to look for Thorfinson? People that left him in the.
He's got to be from Norway.
Do what?
He's got to be from Norway.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. Anyway, and these are just some pictures of that Ox Meadows development, and you can see some probably foundations for something right here in the front. And some of these mounded dwellings were here when we got here, when other people started living there, but they didn't realize what they were for the longest time. And then finally, there were some archaeologists. I guess we're looking around some of this. And they said, "Well, this looks like a development." And they kept looking at it, and they finally found these entrances and all kinds of evidence that they lived here. What?
I'm just waving to Diana.
Oh, is she leaving? Oh, good morning, Diana. Welcome in, everybody. Please don't.
She's here.
Thank you, Mike. I can't even pronounce that word. Well, I was wanting you to talk about where Thornton is from. So anyway, it took a long time to figure that out. So, and this is another demonstration site. They found evidence that they built boats here. Again, why would they be building boats if they didn't want to go inland? Their big ships might not go up the rivers. And I didn't know this either till the other night. This clapboard kind of building of a boat, one rail over or one plank over another, is actually something they invented. And there are still some people that do use these kind of boats. And one of the things I learned about their boats is they had to soak them in water, otherwise they sank. Because they took a little bit of water in them. And if you want to see how that works,
you had to swell the seams, just like the whiskey barrel.
Yeah, exactly. And there's an example of this online and I don't know if I got that picture or not, but they have built one of the larger Viking ships, And I think they sailed it across the northern part of the ocean, the northern part of the Atlantic, around the ice shield, which doesn't in there anymore. But this boat's huge, and you can go there and actually take a ride in this thing, which is basically like being a slave because you're going to be rowing that boat. And but they showed them putting it in the water, and it filled up almost to the gunnels before it started holding, and they let it soak that way for a couple of days. I think I showed that to Brenda the other night. She may not remember it.
Did you say you could take a tour on one of those?
Yes, you can.
And then you get to row.
You get to row.
It's kind of like you can come out here and punch a cow if you want. For some of my neighbors,
Yeah,
you can pay them money to come out and do their work.
like a dude ranch.
No, not like a dude ranch.
Well, okay. I read something that said
Go move that bunch of cows from there to there.
Yeah, they don't do it. You're right.
You get to play cowboy,
cattle, but not in that kind of not cow tipping.
Give us money.
Not cow tipping. That's the funniest thing about that Cars movie was when they were tractor tipping. If anybody's seen Cars, I know some of you guys have seen Cars.
I am so ashamed that I've never seen it. It's my
you should watch it.
It's my youngest grandson's favorite movie ever.
You need to watch it with him. If nothing else, you'll love the part about tipping tractor.
Well, just the fact that Larry the Cable Guy's in there will make me love it. My name's Tom Mater. Or my name's Mater without the or whatever he said.
He's agreeing with me. He says you should watch it. Anyway, this is how they were building boats, and they were building smaller boats to go up rivers in. So again, why the heck would you do this if you weren't going to go in? So, and I'm going to get to some of the evidence of this, or what a lot of people believe is the evidence. There are people who disagree. There's always people who disagree. But this is what the ships. These are modern made ships, and this is what some of them look like. And you can see that they vary in size because the smaller ones were more inland, and they got up to bigger. They actually made bigger ones in the front one that were actually some of their ocean going vessels. They got up to where they were almost, well, they were got up to the size of other European shipping vessels. That is a nice Canadian flag up there, Mike. And these are some of the exhibits they have there. Of course, they were weaving, so they must have had sheep on the island, or Newfoundland. And this guy's playing what they call a Viking harp. And they said this is a cooking fire, but there's a big old hammer there. So
looks like a forge to me.
It looks like a forge to me too, of some sort. And that big hammer and that stump tells me a lot about what that is.
They were probably beating swords out right there.
Uh-huh.
Or axes or whatever.
Well, they have found one of the things they have found over here and here, but I think in other places they believe they found whetstones.
Yeah.
And they know they were whetstones because one, how they were worn down, and they had copper and brass type material where they were honing brass swords, which must have been an all-day job for somebody because brass, it ain't gonna hold an edge very long.
No.
Good morning, Kay. Welcome in. Good to see you.
Hi, Penny. What are you doing?
Well, anyway, these are more examples of the shelters or the homes they lived in while they were over here. Probably the same kind of things they were living in their home countries too. And these are.
This was 1021.
That's when it was. Yeah, they think that's when they started settling. Then they settled here.
Yeah,
I'm sure it took them several years to build it up to this extent, but.
Now, are there sagas about this, or is it just archaeological work?
Say that again.
Are there sagas about this voyage
Both.
and archaeological work
Yes,
as well?
yes. There are sagas about this, and and that's the other thing. There are sagas and songs about other things they did. Some people try and say, "Well, that's just made up." But hell, again, why would they make it up if there wasn't experience there?
They didn't do that very often, though.
No, they did not. So anyway, that's some pretty neat stuff. And there's a loft. This is one of the bigger homes or structures, and that's what a lot of these are till I move on. And they do daily demonstrations and things with people. And these are in part the original buildings. They are, God, I don't even know what to call them. Original shelters they lived in, and they've been repaired, of course, and made safe for humans to enter again. But this is where they were at. This is kind of this was their jumping off point once they got to North America. And there's a lot of pictures of this, so I'll put more in here. Okay, here's another reason they think they made it further in was the main penny. And the main penny, also referred to as the Godard coin, is a Norwegian silver coin dating to the reign of Olaf, King of Norway. I don't know how that's spelled. Kyr, maybe King of Norway in 1067. And he was there from 1067 to 1093. And it was claimed to be discovered in Maine in 1957, and it has been suggested as evidence of pre-Columbian transoceanic contact. And then there's, of course, it was found by, there's other people that say, they made that up and it's fake, because that's what they always say. Guy Melgren, a local resident and amateur archaeologist, said he found this coin on August 18th, 1957 at the Godard site. This was an extensive archaeological site at the old Native American settlement at Noskeg Point. I'm not saying that right. Maybe somebody up north can tell me. At Penobscot Bay in Brooklyn, Maine. A 1978 article in Time magazine called the discovery site an ancient Indian rubbish heap near the coastal town of Blue Hill. Over a lengthy period, a collection of 30,000 items from the site were donated to the Maine State Museum, and the coin made it there in 74, and this is basically what it looks like. And this coin has been it's been dated and verified to be an old coin, and the only question was whether this guy had it in his pocket when he went there, which, again, I guess some people would do that for the fame, but I just don't. I think he found it. I think they really found it. They found it. They've been finding them. I believe they've been finding them in other places. I don't even know where I think they've been finding them in other places too now. And this is what basically Viking coins of that period. These came out of the Gresly hoard, which was in Norway, that they dug these up. But they're all either the same or very similar. Man, I cannot talk today.
How cuz?
I know coffee's not making it any better. But
you want to help the girls make more Play-Doh?
Okay, now Tina's asking, but wasn't Columbus blamed for killing off many natives because they caught European diseases? Wouldn't they have already had there is some evidence of that, Tina. So, they very well could have started it. I don't doubt that they didn't do that. Maybe the cold weather in the north kept some of that from being as bad as in the south, because those kind of things can run rapid.
People fail to realize that he never got to even the North. I mean, he got to, I guess it's considered part of North America, but he never made it to land to like the mainland till late.
Yeah, and then there were like DeSoto and those guys that spread disease. I mean, they walked all through the South. So.
And the The big influx of disease occurred when Europeans finally started settling
On the coast.
the coast,
Yeah.
and that's when it really took off. But
Where Columbus had the biggest impact with the disease issue was the islands in the Caribbean where he landed originally, and they did nearly wipe diseases did nearly wipe some of those people out, but they would already had the antibiotic. Well, not the same. Not that's just it. I don't think it got down as far as where Columbus was, and it was like Mark was saying, there was just less people that were doing that. Okay, Mike. There was less impact in the northern part of the states, but it got worse as the more of us came on, and they do believe that the population went of natives that were alive at that time and occupying the North America was somewhere around 5 million, I think, and I mean, and that's a guess,
or
but
more.
they were knocked down into a couple of million or even less, maybe less a million by the time it all sort of settled out. But even then, some of the natives in the West didn't get these diseases like smallpox, for example, until we started moving out there. So, that varies, but there was, yeah, I think they probably did bring in some stuff with the Vikings, but I just think it was further north. The climate was colder, and there just weren't very many of them. They weren't here long for the most part, but yeah, I think they probably had contact. I think it probably affected people, but not like in the South, further south, not in the South, but further south.
Well, we don't even know what. I mean, maybe they didn't even have it.
Well, they did. Well, that's true. That's possible. I mean, hell, maybe the Vikings didn't even carry it around. I don't know.
Exactly.
Heading out to the store. Have a great day. Well, now you be careful, John, if you've been having Irish coffees this morning. Hopefully somebody else is driving, huh?
Not driving, he said.
Oh, good. Good for you. Okay, I didn't get down that far. Okay, and now Mike's here. Mike is stepping out, and I don't know, maybe Diana's still here. But this is what I was talking about a minute ago with the. I mentioned Gimli a while ago for something. Gimli, Manitoba, is one of the places that they believe the Vikings got to in when they did their inland trading in North America. They got this far into Canada. I think I have a map of this. It says Viking, and that statue stands there. Discoverers of North America between 1000 AD, around 1000 AD, unveiled by President of Iceland in our centennial year 1667, and erected by the Gimli Chamber of Commerce. So the people in Iceland believe it's true. Maple Bacon said that's where we're going to build our retirement home, Gimli, Manitoba. Really? Seriously, Mike? Because that's cool. It's a little further south than where they are now. So here's there's some things they found. I mean, they really believe that this is true. I have no reason to doubt it personally. And it says there are multiple connections between Vikings and Winnipeg, Manitoba, including a Viking statue, a Viking school program, and a Viking village at the festival. The Viking statue, and it was 15-foot statue on the shores of Lake Winnipeg. It was erected in 1967. So this is actually, I forgot to say this, a little bit inland from the Great Lakes to get to this, but that area is just full of lakes. And it was erected in 1967 to honor the ancestors of the Icelandic people who settled in the Gimli area. Well, these guys came later, 1875. The school program is the Scandinavian Center of Winnipeg offers a 2-hour interactive program called Everyone Wants to Be a Viking. It's for students in the lower grades 3 to 5 as part of the Manitoba Social Studies curriculum. And it includes some hand-on activities like a sword and a helmet. That could be dangerous. There's got to be a kid. I can just see it now. If they'd done that, Mark, we'd be standing there singing, My sword and magic helmet. Sword and magic helmet. Oh, I gotta stop that. Okay, let me get this back up here where I'm not
Oh,
moving.
Brunhilde, you're so lovely.
Lovely.
Yes, I know it. I can't help it.
I can't help it. Oh,
Oh,
Brunhilde.
Brunhilde, won't you return my love?
Okay. Have we watched that on here? Because I'd like to play it. I might get kicked off, but I
we,
sure like
we can recreate it, I guess.
it. Well, we kind of did. Okay, then we get down to one of the other controversial finds in North America, and this was the Kensington runestone, which is found in Minnesota. I mean, for some reason, the people that live in this area, archaeologists, whatever enthusiasts, this history came about, and they even named their football team after them. So they believe, and I believe. And went the wrong way. But the
I
Kensington,
think this is a real deal.
I do too. Some people have looked at this and said, "Oh, this guy." Now the one on the left is just a monument, but this one on the right is the real one, the real Kensington stone with the runes in it. And there are people that say, "Oh, that's got to be fake. There's no way that's real." But there are other scientists who have studied the stone that believe, no, this is not fake. You can tell by the lettering and how it was done, and the fact that when you break a rock, chip out the top surface, you expose we'll call it a fresh surface to the atmosphere. It's going to age differently than what's on the face of the stone. The outside part of that stone has been weathering for millions of years, but the letters, when you carve them out, that new surface that you're opening and creating hasn't weathered for a million years. It's been there for a million or millions, but that's not there. And there are scientists who have looked at this very deeply, and they say they believe that these letters were put in there 1,000 years ago, or close, or whatever year they were there. The details I can't remember. Uh, and then there are other people that say, no, this old man up there faked this whole thing. I just don't think he did. When he came over here and who he was a farmer. He was grubbing out land. This stone popped up, and I don't even think they realized at first it was something special. Anyway, I believe they. I don't. It's still controversial. There are still those that say yes and those that say no. But I'll tell you something. This is the kind of history that people don't always want to change. This whole idea of Columbus discovering the New World is really ingrained in a lot of history books and a lot of people's minds, and they don't like the idea of changing that.
Well, I mean, and they've proven that the Vikings were here before that, well before that, to
Yeah,
North America.
yeah, but Columbus
And they've proven that Basques were probably here even before them.
quite possible.
And it's just like,
We still
accept
get Columbus.
the data. For a long time, it's kind of sort of similar discussion that archaeologists in North America believe that Clovis people were the Clovis culture. Native Americans were here first, got here about 13,000 years ago. Well, now they've figured out that there are cultures that were here way, way longer ago, and it's accepted now.
Yeah,
And that,
but it wasn't at first.
it's just not that Clovis people were any lesser. They were cool folks, but there were stuff has happened that it takes a lot of rigor and a lot of discussion and a lot of arguing and whatnot to get things accepted. I personally think this one is probably real, and that people might have been up in Manitoba and other places, Vikings, pretty early on.
Okay, I'll make my opinion on that. I think I know what you're asking. Yes, there were people here, but when you discover something like this was discovered in a very I'm going to say use the word primitive part of the prairie in that part of the country. It was when people first started building farms and erecting homes and clearing land and grubbing it up. And somebody can find something like this and suddenly it changes history. And I know, and I believe that can happen. I mean, that I don't know if you were here then, but that whole thing, it's on Vinland or Newfoundland. That whole village was there all these years, since 1,000 years ago, but nobody knew anything about that until in the last 100 years.
So
Uh,
I mean,
less
they
than that,
started excavating it, and
yeah, and they started. So that was there long after we'd been here and discovered the continent, if you will. I think discover is a bad word at this point. I think they were just here, and so I believe that can happen. And there's some really good books about some of this, written by people way smarter than I am. And like I said, there are believers and there are naysayers. So he said, "Let's go this way to get over there." His math was off. That's all. Oh, Tina says, "I never believed Columbus discovered America. It's all called the Americas for a reason. So it was acknowledged when they named it." I think you may be right there too, Tina. Actually, I think it's, I believe it. I think, from what I've read, it was named after the guy that made the map. He may not even have been over here. I don't know. Americo Vespucci.
Amerigo Vespucci.
Yeah,
But I mean, I just think that human beings in general are wandering, curious folks. And we've talked about this for years. Like,
yeah,
what's around that bend? What's over that hill? Wonder if we can get up that creek. Whatever. Reckon what that peak looks like. And I
yeah.
think people are people, and that like if you got here, you'd want to know what was over the next hill, and it just kind of was that way. We humans in general have been that way forever.
And they have.
I mean, they walked out of Africa, for crying out loud, and went wandering about.
I don't know why there'd be any reason that they believe the English or the French sailed all the way up and managed to get into Hudson's Bay. Why they think the Vikings couldn't have done the same thing?
Yeah, because they were better seafarers.
They were better seamen at that time, yes, than the other Europeans.
And I mean, they like wandered about and conquered a bunch of Europe and the Eastern Middle East, even aboard their ships.
They were in the Mediterranean,
or they were trading, or they were doing whatever, because they didn't always just go in there to kick everybody's butt. Sometimes they was trading.
That's a misconception. Yeah, they were wicked fighters.
They were more of a trading, farming
Right.
people and fishermen than they were killers. So,
And there's something else. Dang, I forgot it. Oh shoot. Something else about this particular stuff. Oh. Oh. Come on.
well, so Tina's talking about they went from Greenland to Iceland to Canada, and I think they lived in Iceland a long time, and Eric the Red
Yeah.
built a homeland in Greenland for a short period of time. They went there to get walrus tusk, mostly, and it wasn't fit to live in like Iceland was, which is funny because Iceland is nice and Greenland is ice.
It was anyway.
Yeah, and then they are. It's just a little short hop from there to the mainland of North America. It's just certainly they had done way longer sea voyages in pretty harsh conditions than going from Greenland to North America.
I know what I was going to say. Two things. Once the other Europeans got here, French, English, Spanish, whatever they were, they met the natives and whatnot along the coast, and then but those natives had things that Europeans wanted that they had traded for and gotten from people that lived further inland, and they followed that in. I mean, there was the fur trade of that time period was huge. And it's all because we kept going to find more and more furs. I mean, and the Vikings could have done the same thing. Or the Europeans tended to be after gold most of the time anyway. And there's another thing about this stone. There's an Indian tribe up there, and they're the.
Okay, do you want?
Oh, it starts with an M. I'd have to look it up again. I can't remember the name. Not Moax. It's kind of a funny name in a way. Anyway, they have a long history of living in this part of Minnesota.
It's got glass on it. It's good.
And they have words in their language that are Viking related. And they also they have drawings of them when white men did this, other white men discovered them.
They get to
and they're wearing stuff that's got the flag that was used by these sailors, and they use it on their clothing. I'm sure where they have gotten that, and that goes back as far back as we know now. So why wouldn't they be? I mean, why? How did they get that if they didn't visit? At least come by and say hi and have a cup of coffee.
Couple black drink.
Yeah, a cup of black drink. Which they traded Indians for way down south. So I mean, don't tell me they didn't get around. Anyway,
well, I mean, we've talked about they've found obsidian and grizzly bear claws and things from the west in mounds, which would be really early,
right.
In Ohio, and mica from North Carolina in Ohio. People were wandering all about.
Which people do.
Which is what people do.
So this monument on the left was erected, I can't remember what year. Because they put it up to, the local people kind of believe. And then there's also a museum, and this is that museum. They call it the Runestone Museum. And they refer to this as the Runestone usually. And there's a replica Viking trade ship they put in the room. Again, it's got that overlap construction. I'm sure there's a name for that. I can't remember it.
So I'm wondering if there's a translation of the runes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never read it. I don't know.
Yeah, there is, and that's again some controversy has been created because there are linguistic people that say, "Oh, they didn't make that R like that till such and such year,"
right?
Or, and something. But there are other ones who look at it and say, "No, well, I can show you where that's at in Iceland or somewhere else."
Right.
And one of the things that the guy that's done a lot of research on this and is really involved, and I have a couple of his books over here. One of the things that gets him is there's a particular X in this. He calls it the hooked X, and it's the first time it showed up. Newer language, newer runes that were made. I say newer, relatively a relative term. They're still old, but they were newer than this. Is proposed to be. and they don't use some of those same letters. An interesting fact, though, there is some evidence that they use some of the same letters that the Knights Templar used, which I find fascinating. So the Knights actually probably got it from these guys.
Oh, you ain't going to Oak Island now, are you?
No, it's not just Oak Island; it's here in Kensington, Minnesota. But I could go to Oak Island. And this is a pamphlet that was put out in 1959 at the Kensington Runestones. Proof the Vikings visited Minnesota in 1362. So, this is 300 years after they think they settled at the Meadows. That's a long time to, again, why would they not go inland to trade? I mean, that's what they were here for. And, it's pretty well documented that Vikings weren't afraid of anybody. So Tina said another squirrel averted. And the guy, this is the stone, and this is a photograph when it was, I don't know, I guess you could say made public to the world. And the old man that found it is the one that's got his hand on it, Olaf. And I don't know if I put his name on the bottom of this slide or not. I meant to.
You could put a helmet on that guy and he'd be fit right in.
He would, wouldn't he?
How's the house coming?
And he couldn't read any of this. I mean,
Yeah.
Wanna come be
But if you
creative
found a
and
cool rock like that out in your field when you were plowing,
You're not on my computer, are you?
you'd darn sure be dragging it back in and getting somebody to look at it. Hey, look,
I
look,
would have
look
anyway.
at this cool thing I found.
What is this? What kind of language is this on here? I'm not sure if the soldiers guarding it was just sort of for show or what that was about, but
They're probably his sons.
those look like doughboys,
They were probably getting ready to go to Europe.
quite possibly. Okay, here's what they think is written. Those you asked if there was a translation. This is at least part of it.
Oh, you do have the translation.
Yeah, not only they got the word geets or gates on there. I can't remember what that's supposed to be, but there are 8 geets and 22 Norwegians. Actually, maybe that's their native guides. That may have been what they were calling their native guides. On an exploration journey from Finland to the west, we had camped by 2 skerries. There you go. That's the word you were using. I think. Weren't you saying something about skerries a minute?
No, I was talking about the scalings.
Oh, scalings.
That's
Okay.
what they called the Inuits, or not the Inuits, but well, maybe they were Inuits. The native peoples that they encountered, they called them Skralings.
Okay. So anyway, one day's journey north from this stone, we were out to fish one day. After we came home, we found 10 men red of blood and dead. I don't know why they put that Ave Virgo Maria thing in there. Save us from evil. There's something about that. And we have 10 men by the sea to look after our ships. And that is 14 days travel from this island, year 1362. And some people have questioned why they would put a stone here and when they left. But one of the things that all these Europeans were doing, even to some degree, even the Vikings, was I wasn't gonna move my arm, I'm still moving it, was to claim land. And if you thought you might come back to this part of the North America to claim it and build a village, you darn right you'd put something there to mark it as yours.
It was like Kilroy was here.
Yeah, like Kilroy was here. In this part of the country.
Morning, Dave.
Hey, Dave. In this part of the country your part of the country where you grew up or lived part of the time, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, white men that explored these areas, native Europeans, whatever we want to call them.
They marked everything with
They
tomahawk.
marked everything. Yeah, they went in and they used a tomahawk, and they called it tomahawk surveys or tomahawk blaze, and they marked these areas.
This is my ground. I just claimed this in the name of me.
Yeah, so why wouldn't the Norwegians do the Vikings do the same thing? I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of some of the arguments to me don't make sense. I give them that it's I don't know. There are a lot of people that don't believe it, and there are a lot of people that do. So
the Geats were another Nordic people, as I recall.
Well, I could look that up real quick.
Geats and
okay, Maple Bacon's heading off to get him a horse trailer. Everybody, wish him luck. Mike, I'm behind you, buddy, all the way. If you find a really nice horse trailer, be sure to send Mark and I a picture. And then we'll start talking about what kind of horse you need. And to you too, Diane, if you're still listening. No, horse trailer.
Horse trailers lead to horses.
That's right. But Diana, what are you going to carry Walter around in? You need a area for him to be in and sleep.
No.
He stays in your house now, but that don't count.
You can just come borrow one.
A horse or a trailer?
You don't even have to feed it, but you're gonna need your own trailer.
Yeah, you gotta have your own trailer. I mean, just in case. And they are so nice, some of them. So anyway, that was the kids.
He can sleep in it.
And I ended there because, like I say, this stuff is so controversial right now that a lot of people just don't. There are people that believe and people that don't believe, and when I hear geologists talk about it and they study the stone, I tend to believe them. I mean, I don't know why we argue that point. And I do think it's because it just has taken us so long to get here, to get to this point that people are just not sure. Wait a minute, he can sleep in the tent or the doghouse if he buys a horse trailer. No, Diana, that's not nice. We'll have to talk about this later. Send us pictures, Mike. I tell you what you should do, Mike. If you go there and they actually do have some horse trailer, living type horse trailer, get Diana to stand by one and take a picture just for fun. Not that, and Mark and I promise that we won't, hang on the situation and talk you into it.
Yeah, we will.
I had my fingers crossed on that.
I saw that. Promised.
So anyway, guys,
look what I got lying here.
A bill for short. Is that a new one? What was said?
I told my wife the other day that's what we always called it. And she goes, why? And I'm like, hi, my name's William. Bill for short.
Well, when you call me, when you text me, I think it's when you text me, I get that bloop from that because there's a recording of it.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have to look again for it, but my phone got messed up and some of my tones, ringtones and alerts and things got messed up and got changed. So I'm not sure, but for a long time,
it was the bill for short.
I love that.
My ringtone for everybody used to be Yosemite Sam singing, I can't get along, little doggy.
I can't let it go.
which is way more
Get along at
way
all.
more pleasant than the rings they have on the phone. But
Well, I can't help but mess
my
with
wife is already looking frazzled,
it.
chasing children, running up and down stairs, questioning their behavior.
And it's still saying no. Or the dog house. Okay, I read that already. Again, come on, Diana. Ease up. Anyway, and I wanted to put more on that. I mean, there is a lot more I wanted to include, and I just got sidetracked because of my arm and everything else that was going on, and it's taken me a few days. I mean, I'm sitting here using it, but even now it's bothering me to use it too much. So hopefully the doctor's not going to say, "What'd you do, Wally? What'd you do since I saw you last? You've been using this arm too much." I told them, Mark. I don't know if I told
Well,
you.
they told you were supposed to do some stuff, right?
To limber it up. I don't know if I told you or not, but I was hanging a picture over here by the door. One day when I got up here, might have been the first day I got back. The first day I got here was Monday or Tuesday, and that's when it was so hot. And I had a little picture laying there, and I was wanting to mount it, put it somewhere on the wall. And I saw a spot, and I said, I'll put this right there. And I got my little step stool out. And I walked over there, and what did I do? I raised up my arms to hang it up on the wall, and this one about put me to the ground because I had forgotten there for a moment. I forgot all about why I don't use my right arm for this kind of crap. God Almighty, did that hurt? That really got my attention. So after that one, I decided not to hang any more pictures for a while, but that hurt. So I'm a little concerned about that, but hopefully he won't. Hopefully I didn't undo anything.
It'll be all
I
right.
don't think I did.
It'll heal back up.
Yeah, and all I got now is, well, you can't see it. Brenda's got, we went ahead and put another piece of gauze over it. I think that's partially to keep me from yanking on the stitches, but I think I've got 3 holes. One's here and 2 back here or something. I can't remember. Brenda, but what I want to do, Mark, is I think I'm going to get that pattern, and then I want to see what kind of tattoo I can get that would work that in. I've been talking about a tattoo, and I thought, why not get one that, use the scar, make the scar something. And of course, I didn't get a good scar. I just got 3 holes in my arm and my shoulder. So I need to figure out a way to use those 3 holes, make them look like bullet holes or something. I don't know.
Well, a good scar's too big a hole.
That's true.
Now, I can get the mammoth ivory needle out and give you a prison tat.
Well, I might just do that. Might take a little bit of brown liquor.
It don't feel that good, but there you go. Probably none of them do. I don't know.
If you're tattooing on my arm, it might take a little brown liquor to ease the pain. I don't know. Well, Kelly, our daughter, has her own personal
tattoo. A gazillion tats.
So I'm quite sure she can turn me on to somebody that knows what they're doing.
We have a niece that her entire, I don't think there's any hide on her anymore.
Oh, really?
It doesn't, including underneath her hair.
Yeah, I've seen that.
She's darn sure going to have to be a lampshade.
Lampshade.
You remember that guy at the rendezvous? Dad said, when you die, that guy was another old Vietnam vet, and Dad said, when you die, we're skinning you and making a lampshade out of you because it'd be a shame for all that artwork to go to waste.
Good point. There's a lot of money in that.
And I'm just like, you guys talk to each other It's just like there aren't many humans that talk to each other like that.
Tina said, "You actually complaining that you didn't get a big scar?" Well, a little bit, Tina. I mean, if you're gonna get a scar, it ought to be something you can look at.
If it's gonna hurt, you might as well be able to say a white shirt tried to take my arm off.
Yeah, and there's a good point. I mean,
Yeah, if you're gonna have a big old hole in your body, you might as well have a good scar out of it.
exactly. Welcome back, John. Brenda said there's 3 little holes. So maybe they're 22 size holes. Maybe I could do something with a squirrel. Now here's the thought. Maybe I could do something with a squirrel, and then I could tell people that, yeah, we were out hunting one day, and me and this other guy
He landed right on my shoulder and went to chew.
Yeah, with that. Or I could say the other guy got mad because I got the squirrel, and he thought he got the squirrel, and we ended up shooting it out. He said, "How about a tattoo of a big
red?"
Oh, that might be. That's a thought. I mean, you don't.
Or like Frankenstein stitches.
Yeah, there's a thought. Now, it's not as important at my age, I'll admit. But if you're a younger man, you need something to brag about when the guys see you take your shirt off when you're out working or something. You need a story. Everybody needs a good story.
You do.
Diana said they could turn the scars into nuts. Oh, there you go. With a squirrel there gathering the nuts. Now, that's a thought.
That's a good idea. Acorns.
Oak nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I would write that down, but I'm not going to reach over and grab a pen right now.
I'll remember for you.
Do what?
I'll remember for you.
Okay. Although that's a good one, so I may not forget that. I mean, squirrels, nuts, that's all part of the. And speaking of that, let me try something here while we're talking.
Let you try something here.
Yeah, I've got. The guy that I talked about that has a song about squirrels. And his name is let me see if I can just search it for him. I've saved him, but I can't see him real quick. Real crap.
Look. Cows.
There he is.
Just had my oldest granddaughter in here, and I said, "Look." I pointed out the window, and she goes, "What?" I said, "Cows." Hundreds of them.
Okay, let me see if it's in here. Anyway, there's this kid, a young guy, kid to me, I guess. You know what? That's another thing. I hope nobody's offended, because I know some people don't like to be called kids anymore. And as one of Brenda's friends says, "Oh, you don't call them kids? That's a goat. You call them children." Anyway, this kid, anybody younger than me, I mean, I grew up being called, "You're Don's boy." I mean, I was 50 years old, and somebody said, "Oh, you're Don's boy." I didn't say you're Don's man. You're Don's boy. You're Larry's boy.
Yeah, they need to get over it. If they're worried about offended by that, they need to get over it.
Yeah, it wasn't an insult. It was
Stop being offended by everything. Human
All
beings, stop being offended.
here it is. Let me see if I can put it online. I thought this would be a good theme song. Oh, out there. Hopefully, I won't get busted for this. I don't
I
think I
don't
will.
know what you're doing. Senator, I have no knowledge of this operation.
Disavow, disavow. All right.
Oh, you're going to get busted big time for this.
I mean, I'm not using it for anything. I'm just watching it. But you can't hear him, can you?
I can't hear a thing. But I like this kid. He's funny to listen to.
What?
He's usually standing in an old like
Cornfield or something. Or
no right away.
right away,
where
yeah.
the power
That's what I
lines come
thought.
through.
Well, anyway, he's got a squirrel song. I thought about trying to call him, see if I could use it for a theme song. But if you guys can't hear it, then I got to figure out why you can't hear
Well,
it.
he'll let you use it if you pay him,
Well, yeah, I know. But
and I don't blame him.
yeah, let me share the link. That's a better idea, Tina. Thank you for. I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes. Oh, that's not right. Earth today. Now, why did that do that? I just copied this. Oh, you know what? I hit the wrong. Probably hit paste, not copy. Sometimes I get in too big a hurry. All right, hang on a minute. I bounced him back. I gotta. Girls running around doing God knows what. You ain't never gonna find all them.
There you go.
He's got a line. He just sung a line in here. It says, "Running it on the road can't ever make up your mind which way to go." And if if you live around squirrels, you know that's true. Because once you're coming at them, they'll sit there and just bounce back and forth.
Oh, buddy, what are you doing?
He said, "For all I know, that squirrel's on a mission because it's a big squirrel world we're just living in." Anyway, I thought that was cool. I thought, what a perfect theme song. Oh hell, I lost this again. I didn't lose this, but I closed the wrong window. Oh, did I? Maybe I did lose this. No, there we are. Anyway, oh my goodness. Let's see if I missed anything over here I want to tell anybody about, or make sure everybody sees. Nope, I don't see anything, so I guess I'm good. Oh, and I'm late here. Now I'm back on. Oh, let go. Now my cursor. Damn it. Okay, you guys close your eyes if anybody gets motion sickness for a minute, because it's for some reason my cursor wouldn't let go of the bar and it kept doing what it's doing right there. Maybe I can do it this way.
Escape.
Yeah, I did. Okay, now you're out of it. Should be. That's a squirrel running back and forth in the middle of the road, maybe. I went to the lake and heard the song. It's cute. Inception. Inception?
Oh my gosh, they're both so you got a collar hat.
Tina says that would be a great theme song. See, I really like it. That guy's got a lot of really interesting songs. For some people, I'm quite sure some people wouldn't like them, but I think I like the guy. He's actually got an album out too now. He got,
I
I don't
know.
know how well he's selling or anything, but he actually has got an album or a, a CD that's available, professionally done, I think. Anyway, guys, so I know some of you got something else to do, and while I'd love to stay and chat because I ain't been had anybody chat with lately except Brenda. She's kind of over it. Diana says she's got to go make sure someone isn't spending money on horse trying to have a great week. Oh, you're going to go watch over him, huh? Have fun. I hope you find something you guys like. And I'll get your spot ready out here. You can pull it down here and camp.
So just have that a horse.
Pretty soon your dollar probably be worth more than our dollar. So you can just, that'd be good. That'd be good. You can come down. Anyway, good luck, both of you. And good luck to Alexander's again. Because tell him you're thinking about him. Hey, we're sending up good vibes to that test and to make sure you got it right, everything right. I think what happened, I wonder if they tied. I wonder would both of them get the scholarship? Maybe not a scholarship. Maybe it's more like a position or a new rank. But it's the beginning of flight training, so that's a cool thing. I know somebody like Sarah would have been all over that.
They start them out in an airplane that don't have no engine.
Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't ever be afraid of an outage that way. You'd learn how to fly.
Hey, you.
Who is that?
You should show the people on TV land that hat. Oh, yes, you should.
Yes, you should. Let us see your hat.
Yeah.
Put it on your head and come here and look. Got a big old white cowboy hat with a big old pink star on the front of it.
Oh, really?
Because it got to have some pink. No fighting. I'll be right back. Yesterday was a totally fight-free day.
That's because you had them busy.
And I said, tomorrow will be different because that's how it goes.
Well, yeah, that's true. Even if you had them.
Cousins get together, that one day they're best friends, and the next day they're the worstest of enemies.
They stand each other. My brother and I were like that. Some days we were just great together, and then the next day we were punching each other in the chin or something. I mean, it was just popping each other in the nose.
Girl fights are just different. They might remember it for the rest of their life.
If he passes the exam, he has to go for interviews, and they only pick the top few kids. No idea how many kids across Canada wrote the exam. So there's a lot of people. So he's really competing against more than just her then. Well, like I said, good luck. I really hope he does well. And if he wants to fly, this would be a good way to start, I think. And I don't know how it works money-wise. I mean, if it's a scholarship that pays for it, basically, or something, that'd be great. Because learning to fly these days is not cheap. Sarah and her mom last time we talked about it, was in the process of her mom's decided she wants to get her license now, or at least solo and learn how to fly, maybe just in case. I don't know, but where was I going with that? Oh, Sarah basically worked her way through her pilot's license by washing airplanes and stuff like that at the airport. She got part-time jobs and whatever to wash planes and do that kind of stuff. That's how she paid for her flight training. So that was, I mean, she earned it. She didn't it wasn't given to her. She worked for it, which is another reason I thought it was really cool that she did. And God Almighty, if you follow her on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, she's flying. Seems like she's flying every time she's not in school, which she's been doing this year. She's at UT now, so I think this will be her second semester. Yeah, that is the right way to do it, Tina. I mean, I absolutely think that when you work for something like that, you appreciate it a lot more. But a lot of us know what that means to work our way through school, and there's a lot of people that don't. They take it for granted, and that's not just a stone. Well, anyway, I guess I'll let everybody go. I'm gonna quit using my phone and get this mouse up here. But anyway, you gone?
I'm leaving.
Wait a minute, don't go. I've never asked this question. I meant to. Are there any examples of the test food that you had to eat yesterday left?
Of the what?
Of what they made for you to eat in the competition?
Oh no, it's all back in one ball and
Oh,
a Tupperware deal.
okay. Well, I thought they
And then my grandson, he's playing with. It grosses me out just to think about it, but he's sitting here on the table playing with this slime stuff that my wife for these kids, and I the thought of touching that just drives me crazy.
Oh, really?
But one of them was blue slime and one of them was green slime, and he made this figure out of the green slime on the table, and it looked just exactly like Gumby. And I was going for my phone to take a picture of it, and the little turd like balled it all up. And
oh no! Well, heck.
And it was just serendipitous. It wasn't. He didn't do it to be mean to me. He just decided at that second, when I was going for my phone to take a photo, that he was. And I mean, it literally looked just. And it was also accidental, but it looked just like Gumby.
Does he even know Gumby?
He don't know Gumby.
That's what I figured.
Oh, he does too. Grandma just said he has a Gumby.
Oh, okay. Tina says I'm done. Maybe that means she's give up on us and she's leaving us, Mark.
Well, I'm done too.
All right, guys. Well, I'll let everybody be done, and we'll all be done together. How about that?
All right.
All right, Mark. Thanks, buddy.
Love you, bro.
Talk to you this week, I hope, sometime. Oh, I got you. Owen said he's done. That makes sense. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Everybody have a great week. Hopefully the weather in your place won't be all bad and the sun shines a little bit. And as Eddie Murphy said, you say, I'm Gumby, damn it. From Saturday Night Live. I believe it was on Saturday Night Live. It might have been a movie, but I think it was Saturday Night Live. Anyway, thanks, Tina. Thanks, Chuck. Hope you're doing okay. And, have fun at the hockey game tonight, because I'd like to go to a game. We hadn't been to a game in a long time. And now we don't live as close to them as we used to. So Knoxville. I wonder if your team probably doesn't come. They probably don't play each other. Probably a different league. That's too bad. Then we could root against each other's team playfully, competitively, but on the up and up. Anyway, he's gone to his nap, but I'll tell you, thank you, Tina. I thought maybe he had. Anyway, bye, guys. I'm going to let everybody go, and I'm going to do it this time for real. I'm going to hit that stop button, and we're all gone. So, see you later. I'll do it this way where you can see my hand. Some people close their shows like that. I never have